So these are now hot. It's hooked up to the other car at this point, which is running, just so there's current going through the system. So what we're looking at here, when you hook up the cables to your dead vehicle, you can go ahead and hook up the positive side, which again will usually be red wires. Typically there's going to be a cable that runs directly down to the starter. So if you don't have a plus and minus on your battery, that's an easy way to tell. A German car like this, you'll see the ground side here. You know, there's brown wires or black wires, and then one might even be an exposed, just a copper cable like that. You might see this cable runs directly to the body of the car, so that's how you know which side is the ground. So go ahead and hook up your positive side, and then the problem is, if your car's very dead, if I connect this right here right now, the ground side, there might be a spark. That's not really usually a big problem unless it's an old battery, which a lot of cases is the reason why you're doing this in the first place. An old battery a lot of times can leak gases. So the issue you run into, sometimes you'll see somebody hook a battery cable up, the spark comes out, the gases ignite, the battery explodes, and then you're in a really bad situation. So one easy way to get over that is not even to hook it up near the battery. Anywhere on the car that is basically raw metal is going to be a ground. So you could hook the ground up, you know, to here really in this case. Did you see that little spark that just came off? You could hook it up directly to there if you want to, that's fine. In this case, it's very easy just to hook it up, you know, to the head of the engine right there. That's fine as well. And then if a spark does happen, the battery won't explode and obviously cover you in flaming acid. So essentially, once your cables are hooked up, the other vehicle's running, you should be able to hop right in. Car starts right up. Alright, so the other nice thing about having a manual transmission is that if your battery does go flat or your starter motor doesn't work or for some other reason your car might not want to start, you can bump start it. So we're parked here conveniently on a hill just because we're planning on doing this, but you might have to you know, get somebody to tow your car or certainly get somebody to push your car for you. But what you're going to do is turn the key on. In this case, it's a push button. It might be a key in your car, fine. Clutch in. You want to be in second gear probably when you do this. You want to let the car roll enough to get a little bit of momentum going, and then all you're going to do is just dump the clutch. As the wheels turn, because it's in gear, the axle shaft turns, the transmission turns, the crankshaft is going to turn, so the engine will turn over because you did that, and hopefully ignite. The only time that this might not work is if your battery is just completely flat to the point where your fuel pump isn't running, but if you have just even a little bit of juice, this is usually enough to get you up and moving again. Alright, so we've heard a lot of myths about using household wiring if you don't have jumper cables. There's some other improvised kind of ideas that people have had. If you're stranded in the woods without jumper cables, maybe you're in an automatic transmission that you can't bump start, or maybe your battery's just completely flat and there's nothing you can do. This is one that we just tried out. We'd heard about this from some people in the past, and actually what's happened here, this BMW on the left, the battery was completely flat. So if you don't have jumper cables, what you need to do is connect the two vehicles to ground each other out. So you need bare metal touching bare metal. You can get creative with that if you want. We had jumper cables, so we just connected the ground on one battery to the ground on the other just to keep things simple. And then just to test, we used a wet sapling connecting the two positive battery terminals. The BMW didn't start. It wasn't really much of an issue. We left it alone for a few minutes. We came back maybe about 10 minutes later, and the BMW now starts. So if you're looking to do this, you know, any regular tree branch probably isn't gonna work. You really want something with a lot of moisture content. So in this case, this is basically just a weed that we found down by a pond. But basically what you need to do is just connect both positive battery terminals with, you know, the wettest sapling that you can find, and in about 10 minutes this battery is now fully charged. It just started this BMW up fine, and it's good to go.